Hi, Dr. Heather here from Wellspring Chiropractic Lifestyle Center. Today we're talking about sports injuries and specifically concussion. It's one of the most devastating impacts that can happen if you have a sports injury is injury to the brain, to the head. And it turns out that the highest part of our population that is suffering from concussions is 10 to 14-year-olds. That's right, our kids, much more than the professional athletes. It turns out that in the last years, about 5 million concussions per year happen to our kids. That's a lot. And the biggest concern is what happens after the first concussion if there's a second one. In fact, 18 deaths per year occur after a second concussion in our youngsters. So it's a big problem, and the concussions in the youth is happening much more frequently than, in fact, twice as frequently than college level, and college level is twice as frequent as professional level. So what is the big concern about concussion besides it injuring your brain? It turns out there are other things that can happen as the result of concussions. So many people don't know this, but immune system function will tank after a head injury, and that can actually set you up for leaky gut because 50 to 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. And if you have leaky gut, that can lead to leaky brain, and now you've gotten proteins in your bloodstream that don't belong there, and that ends up showing up as autoimmune-like illnesses, allergies, that sort of thing. We also know that after a concussion, there's a 4 times greater likelihood of an ACL injury, a knee injury following a concussion, because your righting reflex gets off, it gets distorted, and now it's going to wrong you. You land during play, and the brain doesn't know exactly where the body is in space, and now it's going to do the wrong thing at the wrong time, resulting in an injury. There's also an 80% increased incidence of ankle injuries after the first ankle injury, and there's an increase of ankle injuries that happen after concussion. So these are the kinds of things that can happen after concussion, and it's important to understand that because if you're not watching for it, you may not identify it as something related to that injury. It's so important to know when the best time is for an athlete to be able to return to play. And so there are ways that you can actually measure that very effectively. We use one in our office that's the only FDA-approved medical device for that, so that there's a safe return to play for the athletes. I hope that you found this information useful. If you did, please share it with your friends and family. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below, and I look forward to sharing more with you again soon.